We're going to turn now to the passing of a legendary actor, Oscar nominee Ryan O'Neal, one of Hollywood's leading men for decades.
In fact, I tried to organize it late, and the priest came to marry us, and instead he had to give her the last rites.
And I never would have imagined, I just adored her, that she'd leave me.
Before his death, Ryan O'Neal revealed the shocking truth about his life with Farrah Fawcett. Serial infidelity destroyed their family. Violent fights escalated into public spectacles, and addiction consumed their son, Redmond.
Redmond O'Neal was arrested, and I think we've got his mugshot to show you. He was arrested in Santa Monica yesterday in connection with narcotics.
$11 million in debt, public humiliation on national television, and cancer diagnosis exposed what their destructive relationship had cost them both.
She claims it didn't hurt that I had leukemia. Said it made me a nicer person.
What happened was a masterclass in how passion becomes poison when two people refuse to let go. And it all started when one actor made the fatal mistake of trusting his best friend with his wife. The year was 1979, and Hollywood was about to witness one of its most scandalous love affairs unfold in real time. Ryan O'Neal was visiting his teenage daughter Tatum in Toronto, where she was filming Circle of Two with Richard Burton. What seemed like a routine father-daughter visit would become the catalyst for a romance that would define the next 3 decades of entertainment history.
I'm sorry, I went to Farrah's. She needed me.
But we needed you too.
It was confusing.
Tatum ran into Lee Majors one day and introduced herself, saying, "You know I'm Ryan's daughter?" Majors hadn't known Ryan was in Toronto and asked Tatum where he was staying. Later, Majors rang his old friend and invited him out for a drink. It was an innocent gesture between friends, 2 successful actors catching up over cocktails in a foreign city. But that single phone call would ultimately destroy Majors' marriage and launch a love story that tabloids would feed on for decades. After their night out together, Majors and O'Neal caught the same flight back to Los Angeles. During the flight, something shifted. Majors, perhaps recognizing the loneliness in his friend's eyes, made a decision that would haunt him forever. He invited O'Neal home for dinner. The evening started innocently enough. After an enjoyable meal, which Fawcett made of fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and gravy, she asked him to come back the next evening. Farrah Fawcett, America's golden girl fresh off her iconic Charlie's Angels success, was playing the perfect hostess. But O'Neal saw something else entirely, a breathtakingly beautiful woman, trapped in a marriage that was clearly falling apart. They were saying the marriage was over, and I was saying they were terrific together. She said, "Lee, remember when we were first married, and we were in Nevada, and you'd leave me in some dinky cabin and go to a bar. You'd tell me to get undressed and get in bed and wait for you, but you never came back." His answer was, "Same man now as I was then." That second dinner invitation should have been O'Neal's warning to walk away. O'Neal was supposed to go to Las Vegas to watch a boxing match, but Fawcett convinced him to watch it on TV and come back to their home. The man who had built his career on playing romantic leads was about to step into the most dangerous role of his life. According to what O'Neal wrote in his book, he didn't follow Majors' request at first. A week goes by. I don't call Farrah. I feel uncomfortable about it. O'Neal didn't reach out to Fawcett at first because he knew he would be taking advantage of her and Majors. But Majors persisted, unknowingly pushing his wife toward the man who would steal her away forever. When Majors left for Canada to shoot a film, he made the fatal mistake that would end his marriage. Majors nonetheless told O'Neal he was going to Canada to shoot a movie and asked his pal to take Farrah to dinner one night while I'm gone because she'll be lonely. It was the kind of casual request that friends make all the time, but Majors was essentially handing over his wife to Hollywood's most notorious ladies' man. The first date was electric. O'Neal asked Fawcett out to see a musician they both liked. When they met up, sparks flew. It wasn't just attraction, it was obsession at first sight. Two people who had spent their careers playing passionate characters suddenly found themselves living out the most intense romance of their lives. Fawcett's marriage to Majors was already in a downward spiral, and her chemistry with O'Neal was the final push to end things. The couple separated that same year and were officially divorced in 1982. By the end of their second date, a marriage was over, and a legendary love affair had begun. I was so overwhelmed by this mental and physical attraction for him that I didn't think about anything except what was happening right there. Farrah later recalled, she had traded stability for passion, and there would be no turning back. By 1982, Ryan O'Neal and Farrah Fawcett had become Hollywood royalty. Their relationship dominated tabloid covers, and fans couldn't get enough of their passionate romance. But behind the glamorous photo shoots and red carpet appearances, a destructive pattern was already taking hold that would define the next 2 decades of their lives. O'Neal had always been Hollywood's quintessential bad boy. His reputation with women was legendary, and his charm was matched only by his inability to remain faithful. Friends who knew him before Farrah weren't surprised when the old patterns began to emerge. What shocked them was how blatantly he flaunted his affairs, seemingly indifferent to the pain he was causing the woman he claimed to love more than life itself. The first major scandal erupted when gossip columnists discovered O'Neal's affair with Angelica Houston, the daughter of legendary director John Huston. Angelica was an established actress in her own right, known for her sophisticated beauty and sharp intelligence. In her memoir, Watch Me, she would later describe O'Neal as irresistibly charming, but fundamentally unreliable, a man who could make any woman feel like the center of his universe until someone else caught his attention. The Houston affair was particularly devastating for Farrah because it wasn't a random encounter or momentary weakness. It was a sustained relationship that O'Neal pursued while living with Fawcett and planning their future together. Hollywood insiders whispered about seeing O'Neal and Houston at intimate dinners, their chemistry obvious to anyone watching. The betrayal cut deep because Farrah had trusted O'Neal's promises that his Playboy days were behind him. But the Houston affair was just the beginning. O'Neal's involvement with Ursula Andress created an even bigger media sensation. The Swiss actress, famous for emerging from the ocean in a white bikini in the first James Bond film, Dr. No, represented everything that Hollywood found irresistible: European sophistication, undeniable appeal, and an air of mystery that American actresses couldn't quite replicate. The timing of the Andress affair was particularly cruel. Farrah was at the height of her television success, working exhausting schedules to establish herself as a serious actress beyond Charlie's Angels. She needed O'Neal's support more than ever, but instead found herself competing with one of cinema's most iconic beauties for her own boyfriend's attention. Each affair followed the same pattern. O'Neal would deny everything when confronted, then charm his way back into Farrah's good graces with grand romantic gestures and promises that this time would be different. He would shower her with expensive gifts, plan elaborate vacations, and declare his undying love in front of friends and media. For weeks or months, they would appear to be the perfect couple again, more passionate and devoted than ever. But the cycle never truly broke. The breaking point came in 1997, when Farrah returned home unexpectedly and found O'Neal in bed with actress Leslie Stephenson. This wasn't another rumor or tabloid speculation. It was undeniable proof of his betrayal in their own bedroom. The confrontation was explosive, with neighbors later reporting shouting that lasted for hours. O'Neal's response to being caught was characteristic of his approach to their entire relationship. Rather than taking responsibility for his actions, he blamed Farrah's menopause and admitted that his own attitude had contributed to their problems. It was a deflection that showed how little he understood the depth of the damage he had caused. After 18 years of passionate highs and devastating lows, Farrah finally walked away. But even their separation couldn't break the hold they had on each other. When O'Neal was diagnosed with chronic myelogenous leukemia in 2001, Farrah put aside years of hurt and betrayal to care for the man who had broken her heart countless times. It was a decision that would restart their cycle of love and destruction for one final, tragic chapter.
She claims it didn't hurt.
that I had leukemia. Said it made me a nicer person.
Farrah Fawcett faced significant public struggles with addiction and personal turmoil that often overshadowed her professional achievements. One of the most infamous incidents that brought these issues to the forefront was her 1997 appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman. This event not only highlighted her challenges, but also became a defining moment in her career, reflecting the toll that her personal demons had taken on her life. Farrah Fawcett's appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman on June 6, 1997, is remembered as one of the most bizarre and talked about moments in television history. From the moment she stepped onto the stage, it was clear that something was amiss. Fawcett appeared disoriented. Her speech was slurred and her behavior was erratic. The audience and viewers at home were left bewildered by her incoherent answers and strange comments. During the interview, Letterman attempted to engage Fawcett in a typical late-night conversation, but her responses were often nonsensical and disconnected. At one point, she rambled about the importance of painting and her trip to the Amazon, leaving both Letterman and the audience confused. When Letterman asked her straightforward questions, she struggled to provide coherent answers, which only fueled speculation about her mental and physical state.
Oh golly, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Central Park.
Oh, there's a road. There are places where the wall,
Right.
the
wall.
what is that, the thing?
The thing.
Anyway,
Suddenly, Farrah and I are playing.
This exchange, among others, led many to believe that Fawcett was under the influence of or during the interview. The incident quickly became a media sensation, with headlines and tabloid stories speculating about her health and stability. The public scrutiny following the Letterman interview was intense. The media was relentless in its coverage, often portraying Fawcett in a negative light. Tabloids and entertainment news shows dissected her every move, and late-night comedians made her the butt of their jokes. The widespread coverage and mockery amplified the humiliation she must have felt, compounding her struggles. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Fawcett later reflected on the incident, saying, "It was like being thrown to the wolves. They were saying terrible things about me, but they didn't know what was really going on in my life." The backlash was not limited to the media. Fans and critics alike were shocked by her behavior, and many expressed disappointment. Fawcett's image as America's sweetheart was severely tarnished, and her professional reputation took a significant hit. This moment in her career became a symbol of her public struggles and overshadowed many of her accomplishments. The Letterman incident was a reminder of the toll that addiction had taken on Fawcett's life. Although she never publicly confirmed that she was under the influence during the interview, it was widely believed that her behavior was a result of substance abuse. Fawcett had faced rumors of for years, and the 1997 interview seemed to confirm the worst of these speculations. Substance abuse was a pervasive issue in Fawcett's life, affecting both her personal and professional spheres. Friends and colleagues often spoke of her struggles in private, but the public nature of her addiction came to the forefront during incidents like the Letterman interview. Despite the public and personal challenges, Farrah Fawcett made several attempts to recover and rebuild her life. She sought treatment for her addiction and made efforts to regain control of her career and public image. Her friends and colleagues noted her resilience and determination to overcome her struggles. In the early 2000s, Fawcett began to take on more acting roles and appeared in several television projects. Her performance in the television movie The Guardian in 2001 earned her critical acclaim and a new respect in the industry. It was a testament to her talent and her ability to rise above her challenges. In 2006, Fawcett was diagnosed with anal cancer, a diagnosis she chose to share with the public. Her battle with cancer was documented in the 2009 documentary Farrah's Story, which provided an intimate look at her fight against the disease.
My deepest desire now is simply to live.
Farrah Fawcett.
I do not want to die.
The documentary was praised for its raw and honest portrayal of her struggle and brought attention to a disease that is often stigmatized. Fawcett's decision to go public with her diagnosis was both courageous and controversial. It sparked discussions about privacy, celebrity, and the public's right to know about the personal lives of public figures. Ryan was said to have returned the care and attention before she died. While by her bedside in her final weeks, it said Ryan eventually suggested marriage to her. However, Farrah took a turn for the worse and never did exchange vows.
And I never loved her more than I did during her illness. She just rose to the occasion. She went too soon. Don't know what happened.
Farrah died in 2009, 3 years after being diagnosed with cancer. Ryan admitted that after her death, that he had some regrets with their tumultuous relationship. Looking back on their time, he said, "I would have been much kinder, more understanding, more mature. I'd lose some of the savagery. I don't know how she got cancer. Maybe some of it was me. There was never a day I didn't love her." The turbulent relationship between Fawcett and O'Neal also affected their family, particularly their son, Redmond O'Neal. Redmond's struggles with addiction and the law became a focal point of family conflict and were a source of immense pain and concern for Farrah. Redmond O'Neal, born on January 30th, 1985, grew up in the limelight, the child of 2 famous actors. Despite the privileges that came with his parents' fame, Redmond's life was far from glamorous. From a young age, he struggled with addiction, and his behavior often made headlines. His numerous arrests for related offenses painted a bleak picture of a young man grappling with severe substance abuse issues. Redmond's first major brush with the law came in 2005 when he was arrested for possession of heroin and methamphetamine. Over the years, he faced several other arrests, often for possession and related offenses. His legal troubles and battles with addiction were a constant source of stress for Farrah, who was deeply worried about her son's well-being. In a 2008 interview, Farrah expressed her heartache over Redmond's struggles. "It's like he's been kidnapped. It is like a death to me." Her words underscored the depth of her pain and the emotional toll that Redmond's issues took on her. Farrah's dedication to her son was evident, and she often stood by him, hoping he would find a path to recovery. After Farrah Fawcett passed away on June 25, 2009, her will became a source of considerable controversy. She left the bulk of her $4.5 million estate to her son, Redmond, ensuring that he was financially supported despite his ongoing struggles. However, Ryan O'Neal was conspicuously absent from the will, which fueled speculation about the state of their relationship at the time of her death. The decision to exclude Ryan from her will indicated a significant rift between them, possibly stemming from years of tumultuous interactions and unresolved issues. In an interview after Farrah's death, Ryan revealed that Farrah had never wanted to be buried with him, highlighting the extent of their estrangement. This revelation painted a picture of a family deeply divided by personal grievances. The exclusion of Ryan O'Neal from Farrah's will and the substantial inheritance left to Redmond raised questions about Farrah's intentions and the dynamics within their family. Some speculated that Farrah's decision was influenced by her desire to ensure Redmond had the means to continue fighting his addiction, while others saw it as a final act of separation from Ryan. Farrah Fawcett's private life continued to be a source of public fascination even after her death, with new controversies emerging in the years that followed. In 2013, Greg Lott, a former University of Texas football player, made headlines with his claim of a secret decade-long love affair with the late Farrah Fawcett. Lott's allegations and subsequent lawsuit against Fawcett's estate sought recognition and a share of her assets, bringing to light previously unknown aspects of her private life and adding further complexity to her already controversial legacy. Greg Lott's claims came 4 years after Farrah Fawcett's death from cancer in 2009. He alleged that they had shared a close and intimate relationship, which had been kept hidden from the public and even from many within Fawcett's inner circle. According to Lott, they had rekindled their romance in the late 1990s after having dated briefly in the 1960s. He described their relationship as as loving and supportive, asserting that they remained in close contact until her death. Lott's lawsuit against Fawcett's estate was driven by his belief that he had been unjustly excluded from any recognition or financial benefit. He claimed that Fawcett had intended to provide for him, but that her wishes had been overridden or ignored in the handling of her estate. This legal battle brought attention to the personal and often hidden facets of Fawcett's life, challenging the public's perception of her final years. Lott provided personal letters and photographs as evidence of his relationship with Fawcett, seeking to prove that their connection was genuine and meaningful. He argued that Fawcett had intended to include him in her will, but had been prevented from doing so due to external pressures or oversight. The estate, represented by Fawcett's family and legal advisors, disputed Lott's claims. They argued that Fawcett had made clear decisions regarding the distribution of her assets, which primarily favored her son, Redmond O'Neill. The estate's legal team maintained that Lott's assertions lacked sufficient evidence and that his lawsuit was an opportunistic attempt to gain financially from Fawcett's death. Ultimately, the court did not rule in Lott's favor, finding that he had not provided enough substantial proof to warrant a share of the estate. The decision reinforced the validity of Fawcett's will as it stood, but the public spectacle of the trial left a lasting impact on her legacy. What's more, the infighting and legal battles within the family undoubtedly had a profound impact on Redmond. The constant public scrutiny and the turbulent relationship between his parents contributed to his already challenging circumstances. Redmond's ongoing struggles with addiction were exacerbated by the instability and conflict within his family. After Farrah's death, Redmond continued to face legal issues. In 2018, he was charged with attempted robbery and assault following a series of violent incidents in Los Angeles. These charges marked a new low in Redmond's life, highlighting the severity of his addiction and mental health issues. His repeated encounters with the law underscored the deep-rooted problems that had plagued him for years. In a candid interview, Ryan O'Neal spoke about his son's troubles. He's never recovered from all the damage done to him. He's never been able to get his life together. Ryan's words reflected the deep sorrow and helplessness he felt regarding Redmond's situation. Ryan O'Neal's death in December 2023 closed the final chapter on Hollywood's most turbulent love story, but the secrets he revealed paint a picture of two people who loved each other enough to destroy everything around them. The shocking truth about Farrah Fawcett and Ryan O'Neal wasn't that they couldn't live together, it was that they couldn't live apart. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.